Hi everyone, and welcome back with Jim Rooney, County Tax Assessor. Jim, last Monday, I believe you were at the Jackson City Council, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and that's what Pat Crew told me anyway, and he said you gave a report. It says it was kind of a gloomy meeting because it was so much, I guess, on the economy. And you talked about the economy. Maybe you had a little brightness in the economy there. You don't have to speak to that, but what was it that you told
Well, what I did was I went to Jackson, and a few nights earlier I went to Ione too.
Okay.
And what I do is I tell them the assessments for the past year we just completed, here's what they ended up at, a few percent below last year. This way it gives them an idea of how much property tax revenue they're going to get, and they can budget based on, last year's compared to this year's. And with Jackson, gosh darn, I wish I'd have brought that paper, but I think last year, or this year, their assessments were down about 2.67% less than the previous year. So the property tax revenues that they get, they can probably expect them to be down somewhere between 2.5% and 3%.
Let me interrupt. You're kind of like the bad news, good news guy.
Yeah.
In a sense, because you bring the bad news right now and you're telling people, your house isn't worth what it was worth. The good news that I always hear from you, though, that goes along with it is, but I'm the assessor, and it's my job to make sure it's assessed right. So give us a call, so you don't have to pay more money. You're probably going to pay a little bit less, or maybe a lot less. I don't, but I mean, you seem to be out there, to me, always, working for the homeowner or the business owner who owns buildings, and trying to say, look, this is what this is, and this is all the money I want, is what's fair.
Well, I tell you, I have real strong opinions on how the assessor's office is supposed to work. It's supposed to get values right. If getting values right means that we're reducing assessments 2 or 5%, then that's what it means. That means that the county and cities will be getting less revenue. That's not our concern. What kind of revenues the counties or the cities or the schools, it's not our concern what they receive. Our concern is we look at a property, we say the property is worth so much, that's what it should be assessed at, or the Prop 13 value, whichever is lower. Let's get it right. We do. And in the past few years, we haven't created a real estate market that has gone down. We've reflected the real estate market that's gone down. And I got to tell you, I became assessor in 2003. From 2002 and 3 up to 2008, assessments in the county went up 80%.
Oh my gosh.
80% in that time. Now, do you remember that time? People were... Now, Prop 13 says assessments can only go up 2% a year unless there's new construction or change of ownership. Well, there was a lot of new construction. New homes were being built. That increases assessments. A lot of people were selling the home that they had paid $80,000 for. They were selling it for $300,000. That's close to a 400% increase. A lot of things were going on. We were assessing just as it was going on. Our assessments showed about an 80% increase. That's what we were supposed to do. So right around 2007, 2008, values start to creep down. Well, we were reflecting the real estate market. We did our job the way we were supposed to. I heard a little grumbling. Say, hey, Jim, we could use a little bit more revenue here. And I say, you know what? The assessments are what they are. We're going to get them right. And I got to tell you, at times I've thought, shoot, things are a little tough on the cities, tough on the county, but it doesn't matter to us. We're going to do our best to get assessments right. And, we haven't gotten them all right either. As assessments were going down, budgets were cut. Our budget's been cut. We have essentially 20 to 25% fewer appraisers than we had when the real estate market was going up. That means it's harder for us to go out and look for and find assessments that should be lower.
I'm glad let me stop you there, because it would seem, in at least maybe the Jackson area, or where there's been some developments where there's some housing, where the housing is close to the same value in that certain area. It might be like down in the city. Oh, everybody hears basic values about this. We can all figure it out.
Sure.
Down the street, somebody sold. We can change the value because of the market. We can adjust the market. But here, in the rural area, you might have a house that was built 40s or in the 50s, and then you have in the lot next to you, or in a acreage next to you.
Yeah, sure.
A home that was just put in that was, put in during the boom times and, might be bigger and things like that. And so,
Yeah, no similarity at all. You're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And a neighborhood reflected thing. There are Mesa Meadows. There's areas that are, probably closer together.
Well, let me tell you, Sacramento County, San Joaquin County, Merced County, they have these massive subdivisions of houses all on the same size lot. There's 5 models, and these models, they're reversed. They're very homogeneous. They can look in those areas and say, all these houses or these models, we're going to lower them a certain amount. In our county, you're absolutely right. We'll have a 1,200 square foot house on a 1/4 acre right next door to a 3,500 square foot house on 6 acres. Oh, there's no comparison there. There's no similarity. So we have to look at those individually. It is very hard for us. Although we've manipulated our technology to allow us to do mass reductions, we're not as accurate. That's why I tell people, if you look at your assessment and you think, wow, that doesn't look right, call up the assessor's office. Maybe we will take another look at it, and you might have a different opinion of value. I tell people all the time, look at your assessment. If it doesn't look right, give us a call. If you think it's too low, call us up. We'll see what we can do. I haven't received a call on too low yet. So.
Okay, I think I've heard you say before, you can't have the same house or something like that, but there's categories. I'm not sure if you put it like A, B, and C, or 1, 2, 3, but essentially say, well, this is built with maybe TX111, and this is built with, with a cedar board, or in other words, the quality or the cost of the building materials to start up with. How is it that similar things are different?
Well, we classify every house. We give it a number. Essentially, it's from 1 to 10. However, every house in this county is from about a 4 to an 8. An 8 being a very good quality home, a 4 being a low value, lower quality home. Most houses are 6s or 7s. Good quality, nice quality. But we can't really reduce things based on just the quality of the home. But what we do is we look at areas. We will look at, like down in Ione, we'd look at Castle Oaks and Edgebrook in the old part of town, and we try to get an indication of values going up or down. And then we would look at the square foot of houses. A 3,500 square foot house is going to have a much lower value per square foot than a 1,000 square foot house. So the size of the house matters. It's all very subjective, and we do the best we can with what we have. But right now, I got to tell you, what's the most interesting area in the county right now? Is Ione. Have you been down to Ione lately and seen all the new construction going down there?
Yeah.
It looks to me like there's about 200 houses under construction right now. They're all over the place, all in and around the golf course. And ironically, they're selling them all. And the reason I bring up Ione is because in this depression that we've had of home values, the county's gone down about 10% on average, and the cities have gone down anywhere from 6 to 12%, except Ione. Ione during this time has gone down 25% in value, the overall assessment. It's a really high amount. And the reason that happened is Ione was going through a boom when the real estate market, when the bottom fell out. They had a whole bunch of houses under construction. They had an awful lot of lots ready to go. And all those homes that sold for those high values, a lot of them, people lost them. And the values on those homes went way down. Again, we reflected the real estate market, and Ione suffered an awful lot. We've heard all the problems of Ione and their budgeting. A lot of that was caused by the real estate market, and I think people know that. It was somewhat unfortunate. At the same time, I go down to Ione right now with all those homes under construction, and I think, boy, Ione has a bit of a bright future, revenue-wise. But I want to tell you something that I've always kind of wanted to tell people, and that is, throughout the county, this has been a bad thing for the county, all these real estate values going down, but not completely bad. There are areas, especially in Ione, where somebody bought an old, dilapidated house. They got it for real cheap, and you know what they've done? They fixed it up so that it is a very nice house. There's a number of examples down in Ione, and it has made these lousy-looking neighborhoods it's really improved the appearance of them. And it's made, at least portions of Ione, nicer places. And that's all throughout the county. So there's a silver lining to this cloud. You know what else is really positive right now, and we've talked about it, is home values are still very, very low. Interest rates are very, very low. If somebody wants to buy a house right now, they can find a house for a low price, $100,000, $80,000. After they put some money down, their monthly payment's going to be somewhere around $400 to $600 a month, including taxes and insurance. That's very,
not much
very
money
cheap.
for housing.
No, it's not at all. Values will go back up. And you know what people are going to say when values go back up? In 6-8 years, they're going to say, you know, I could have had one of those houses at a certain price, and they'll be kicking themselves. Everybody I talk to, I say, look, if you can buy a house right now and live in it for $300 or $400 a month, do it. Worst case scenario is you can never sell the house and you're getting rent of $800 with a mortgage of $300 and making $500 a month. Gosh, this is the biggest no-lose situation. I guess I shouldn't say no-lose. There's always the possibility of something going wrong. But it is such an opportune time to buy real estate. Interest rates low, prices low. How much better can it get? I've done it. As a matter of fact, I bought a house so cheap, I insisted that in my office that they raise the assessment. I'm the only person ever to come in the office that I know of and say, raise my assessment. It's too low. And then, you know what? They raised it higher than I wanted them to raise it, but I didn't complain. So, but anyway, it's a very interesting time in the real estate market.
Okay. Well, Jim, we have to go. It's always interesting to have you by. Like talking with you. And I'm Tom Slivick. Thanks for watching today's News in Depth. We'll see you again next time here on TSPN. You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.